Okay. You want to start? Because I'm still choked up here.
Yep, so we're here to recap Game 6 of the West Final that just finished up. And the Oilers did it. The Oilers move on. They beat the Stars 2-1 in the Western Conference Final Game 6. They won the series 4-2. He won the beat the team. But anyways, they beat the Stars 2-1 in Game 6, winning series 4-2, and will now face the Florida Panthers. So a very interesting matchup in the Stanley Cup Finals. I believe this will be the furthest geographic distance.
And I don't think anybody really thought this was going to be the Stanley Cup Final.
No, but this game, it went about as I thought it would, and also went very differently as I thought it would. As the first period, the Oilers got the first 2 goals of the game in the first, and we're off to a hot start. But then Dallas just outshot the Oilers.
Ridiculously.
Ended up being 34-10 final shot totals. Dallas.
The least amount of shot totals by a team that wins and clinches the conference final.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah. So now it'll be a 5-day break until they start again Saturday. So it'll be all 7:00 games. But yep, it can be the first Canadian team since 1993 to win. The Oilers haven't been in the finals since 2006.
You were 3 years old. No,
4.
4 years old.
Yes,
last time.
2006, the last time that the Oilers made it. Great storylines for both sides of this finals. It's gonna suck no matter which team loses because the Panthers have never won a cup and they've been in the finals. This will be their 3rd time that they've been in the final. 2nd straight year for them, and then for the Oilers.
It's been 19.
The sports world finally gets to see McDavid in the final, and it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Last Stanley Cup was in 1990, so that's 34 years ago. So, still, I'm at a loss. To try to keep my composure. I know.
You want me to keep talking? But, yeah, Stu stood on his head in the game.
Well, he had to. He made 33 saves?
I mean, anybody who really watches sports, or we'll say sports in this instance, knows how Dad's feeling because it's fun when you get to see your team advance, especially when it's been a long time. That's a long time to wait, and the Oilers are one of those teams that they really went through it to get there. Being the 8th seed in that 2006 run, to make it all the way and just be 1 game short, and then to really go through the 20 teams and just be the cellar dweller of the league, where they just were not a good team, and over time pick up pieces. They get RNH, who's been the longest tenured player of this team that's on it right now, and then a couple years later you get McDavid, and then the pieces start slowly coming together. You get Draisaitl coming out of nowhere, and then you guys get Hyman and free agency, and resurgence of Stu Skinner in the playoffs, where he had a rough series against Vancouver and he turned it around in this series. Yeah, Ekholm, guys like that, where now the Oilers are a legit team, and going into this, I don't think there's any favorite. Because
it's got to be pretty even.
Because both teams are really good. But the storylines from both sides are going to be great. Will Florida get the job done and bring a cup back to Florida again after a couple year absence since Tampa won it, or will Edmonton bring the cup to Canada to fulfill Gary Bettman's worst nightmare?
Yes. There was a meme earlier, Gary Bettman on the phone saying, "How are the Oilers 1 win away from the Stanley Cup Finals?"
Yeah, but this game, it really did go differently than I thought. The Oilers they did get outplayed, but sometimes that's just how it goes. You'd rather be outplayed and win the game versus be outplayed and lose. That's off to Dallas. That series was a great series, and Dad and I got to
see game 2.
See game live. Unfortunately, one of the games the Oilers didn't win in this series, but they're a worthy team, and I'm hoping that in the next couple of years they can win a cup, because as much as I'm obviously not a Stars fan, but I want to see the Cup come back to Texas. And I mean, they definitely turned, I think, a lot of people in the state into hockey, watching the game, because they're a great team, and they're a team that's going to be good for a while, so they're not going anywhere. But for now, we're under
your cousin Zach.
Oh, everybody on that side of the family is going to be happy. I'm definitely, no doubt, cheering for the Oilers to win.
Except for Zach's dad, your Uncle Alan. He's a Vancouver Canucks fan.
He better be cheering for the Oilers.
He better be cheering for the Oilers.
He's got to cheer for
the Oilers. He's got to, yeah. Zach, tell your dad he's got to cheer for the Oilers.
I'm definitely going for the Oilers. I'm happy with either team winning it. Obviously, the Oilers would be sweet, but when it gets to the finals, for the most part, I'm never dissatisfied with who makes it, or who. The only time it was Vegas last year, winning it. But for the most part, the finals, it's hard not to root for either of those teams. They're both great teams, great coaches. Paul Maurice he's a legendary coach. He won with Carolina. No, not with Carolina in 06. I believe he's won a cup before, maybe, or he's been in the final. And then obviously Knobloch. Probably will be the story of the year if the Oilers win the whole thing. 2-9-1, and then Woodcroft gets fired, and they bring Knobloch in, and they just go on this tear of a run to end the season. Very interesting to see if the Oilers win the whole thing. Woodcroft should get a ring for that, being a part of the staff. But I mean, they shut it down when they need to, and I mean, the Nursey boy stepped it up.
He stepped it up. Okay, I have to admit. Yeah, he did step it up the last 2 or 3 games, at least defensively, and he didn't fire into his own net.
Really, the biggest difference in the series was special teams.
Yep.
So the last few games, the Oilers started getting the power play rolling. Dallas didn't get one power play goal in this series. They were 0 for 14 or something like that in this series, and Edmonton got a shorthanded goal on them, and Edmonton had 4 or 5 power play goals in the last couple games. That's all the difference. That's the big reason the Oilers are moving on, because I mean, both their goals tonight were power play goals. But I'm interested to see how this series is going to be officiated, how it's going to go. I think it's going to be high octane offense, really, because Florida's. I mean, everybody I feel like watched the Rangers series. Florida kicked the crap out of the Rangers when it came to possession, the way they played. The Panthers were by far the better team in that series, and they were just back and forth. And I mean, you got them, and then you go to Edmonton and you get McDavid, and it's just going to be. I don't think there's going to be a ton of it's not going to be a goal fest, but there's going to be a lot of offense as well, lots of shots. I don't think that many power plays are going to happen in this series. The difference is going to be the goaltending. I mean, Bob is Bob. Bobrovsky's been amazing the whole time. Stu's been somewhat shaky at points, but he stepped up when he needed to.
They're showing that McDavid power play goal again. Oh my God, what a goal!
But yeah, it's going to be a great series, and now we get a few days break.
No hockey for 5 days.
Dad and I really have nonstop since the beginning of the playoffs 2 months ago. Have been watching the games every day, covering the games every day. Now we get a few days to just chill out and get ready. You'll definitely have to buy a shirt for the
the Cup final.
Maybe there'll be a special order for one for me too, because I need to. But I mean, it's pretty interesting. I mean, it'd be cool for the Oilers if they won it this year too. I mean, for Dad and I that we got to see a game during the postseason. You know, it's different when even if you live in Edmonton, it's still pricey to go to a game. But for us to be down here in Texas, way away from the Oilers, and we got to be a part of the run to watch a game, even if they didn't win. All those players are on that team and had a chance to.
McDavid's wearing his Western Conference T-shirts.
McDavid's already gotten everything that you can win in the game. The Stanley Cup's the only thing that he's missing. He's already a guaranteed Hall of Famer by the time he retires. Guaranteed that he's never retired by the Oilers. But this will cement the legacy that lots of great players, that really cements who you are as a player. I mean, it took Ovi forever to do it. Ovi did it. Obviously, my guy Sid got 3. Lots of players, really cemented their legacy by winning a cup. And I mean, everybody rags on the Oilers and, McDavid. McDavid hasn't won a cup. McDavid hasn't won a cup. Yeah, he's a great player. He has stats. He hasn't won a cup. Well, now he has his chance. And it really just seems like it's too good to be true that they won't win the cup. The way that they've played, the changes that they've made throughout the season, the coaching staff, They were literally one of the worst possessions you could be in. Besides the Blues in 2019 when they were in the last place at the beginning of 2019 in January, they were in dead last, and by the end in the middle of June they're hoisting the cup. This has got to be the biggest turnaround that the league's ever seen. Besides that, because I mean, yeah, it was only 12 games in, but geez, like.
Yeah, it was.
You can't sink that low.
No,
I mean, you can't. That's a lot of games, and
you got to play. They played catch up the whole season.
They nearly got that. They nearly got the win record. They were that close to tying it. Doesn't matter anymore. I mean, they proved why they deserve to be here. Like, their big guys showed up every game, and even the role players did their job clearing pucks, making big hits. Being smart,
not giving Dallas anything.
I noticed this tonight too. I don't know if you did too, Dad, but not a lot of turnovers.
No,
there were not a lot of turnovers.
Not a lot of turnovers at all.
And Stu was really sure-handed. He caught the puck, froze it. There were hardly any second chance opportunities. Again, credit to Dallas. They pressed really hard.
And we knew that they were going to come out, and especially in that third period, they came out dominating.
They were definitely, even though the Vancouver series went 7, I think this was definitely the toughest series. Just because Otter. I can't even blame him. Otter did a great job. He made probably the save of the playoffs on McDavid. Or no, Bob had the save of the playoffs. That save off of McDavid in Game 1.
Yeah.
How many times did he come in clutch? And really, these games weren't high-scoring games.
No, they weren't. Except I think the 5-1 game was the highest.
A couple 3-1s, 2-1 wins. But, it's all behind us now. The series is over. Now we wait till Saturday.
4 more to go. 4 more wins.
Yeah, that series is going to be a long series. It's not going to be quick.
No.
By any means. I'm excited to see the atmosphere in Florida on Saturday at that game. Those fans were really loud in the Ranger series. The only thing I don't like is, for y'all in Canada, y'all probably have a different broadcast feed, but here in the U.S., that camera angle in Florida is ridiculous to watch a game on. They have it so high up in steam. That it's like when we're watching the games in the arena, it gives that great view, and I'm just excited to see it again. I didn't think this Cup final was going to honestly be. I didn't think the Panthers. I didn't pick the Panthers to make it out of the East, but I think as far as entertainment goes, this is as entertaining as it's going to get a final matchup. Two acting offenses, 2 great stories from each side, and now it's just going to be a matter of who's going to be in. I mean, I think this is at least going 6 or 7 for sure.
At least 6. It's going to go at least 6.
We get to watch the 2 best teams, and rightfully so, best teams in the league compete. One is a division champ, one isn't a division champ. Florida will have home ice because they won their division. Doesn't matter though. The story's still the same. You got to win the games. You win 1 game in Florida, and you guys get basically home ice back. And use the advantage of Rogers Place, how loud it's been in there this run.
I gotta hand it to the fans because I think, especially in the third period, they really came to life and kept pumping the Oilers full of energy. I think
that's not an easy game to watch as a fan. The Oilers really didn't have anything going offensively throughout the game. Dump and chase was the game. But those fans stayed patient and they knew what was at the end of the rainbow.
I'm talking to Zach Hyman right now on the ice.
It was as thrilling as it could be. Dallas had the puck in the zone basically the whole time for 6-on-5, but they survived it. And it's on the Saturday. We have a 5-day break. Dad'll probably hopefully be asleep by like 2:30 or 3 o'clock this morning before this. But it's gonna be fun.
I'm looking forward to I honestly, Carl, I started the season. I started the playoffs going, okay, you know what? You get through the LA Kings. I just want this team to play well and play well. Go into Vancouver series, and they kind of fell apart a little bit in the Vancouver series, but they hang on. They win when they had to. They come into. We got to go to Dream. We got to go to a Western Conference final game in Dallas, which was absolutely incredible atmosphere. if you're in the Dallas area for a hockey game, you have to go, because even the regular season was a great atmosphere, and it was twice as much in the playoffs. The fans are just great in Dallas because they treated us like with respect, and they won that game, and it's not like they're rubbing it in or anything like that. They just understand that this is two great teams. They just love watching hockey, which is what I love, going to Dallas and watching games. And I tip my hat to the Dallas Stars, because, like Carson, I've been here in Texas for 30 years, and my team, of course, is the Edmonton Oilers. My second favorite team is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah. But Dallas is right there too, because it's just such a great atmosphere, and it's such a great city, and they're a good team, and they're going to be on the top for a long time. And they got some guys that maybe are getting a little long in the tooth, but
Joe
Pavelski.
He's probably the best. He's definitely the best player in the league right now that has not gotten to win one yet. I mean, I think he still has a couple years maybe left, but yeah, I mean, great storylines both ways. Just McDavid in the finals is going to be.
That's going to be. And I think he really put the team on his back, especially tonight.
Oh, that goal that he got.
That goal, it was finally a McDavid-like goal that we've been waiting to see. But anyway, so like Carson said, we're going to be here for the Stanley Cup Finals, the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. It all starts Saturday, so it'll be Saturday, Monday,
and then probably Thursday.
And then
it's like 2.5-3 weeks long, so it's going to be probably Saturday, Monday, and then I think they'll take a 3-day break, so they'll come back Thursday and then play Saturday again, and then 3-day break.
Yeah.
But it's going to be. I mean, we know it's going to be a long series, so buckle up for probably a 6 or 7 gamer, because this is not going to be quick at all.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a sweep. It's not going to be a 5-gamer. No way.
No.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be entertaining.
So just keep following us on the Best Boy Center Ice podcast.
And I will mention, our first year covering on the podcast or doing our show, and one of our teams has already made the final.
Yeah.
We're 100%.
We're 100%.
That means that we just got to keep it going, because every year it'll come true.
It'd be nice if next year it was Edmonton-Pittsburgh.
Oh, man.
So that would be great. All right, we're going to wrap things up tonight. Again, the Edmonton Oilers win the Western Conference Finals by beating the Dallas Stars tonight, 2-1. It was a nail biter. The Oilers they didn't score. They didn't get a whole lot of shots. They got 10 shots, but they got the W. They got the 2 goals that mattered. And Stu Skinner stood on his head again for the Oilers, and now the Oilers are off to the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 2006, when they lost to Carolina in 7 games. And they're going to be going to South Florida for an exciting Stanley Cup Final, and we'll be covering it on the Best Boy Center Ice podcast, both of our Facebook pages, as well. You can check us out on the Best Boy Center Ice podcast on YouTube, and while it still lasts in the United States, anyways, on the TikTok. All right, everybody. Woo! Oilers win. Off to the finals. Have a great hockey night.